Anyways, guys, welcome back to a new kind of video because we are communicating across 3 different states at the moment. Unfortunately so. To bring you this amazing content. So y'all already know Laura, our Nebraska queen. Y'all haven't officially met. She is reppin' right now. But y'all haven't officially met John V, our Texas Hook'em Horns queen as well.
Yes, Hook'em Horns.
Yes.
I'm actually home right now in Frisco, but I go to UT.
She does good.
Nice to meet you guys. Okay.
So me and John V are kind of rivals, but
I actually secretly hate her, but it's okay.
Yeah, like I don't like her at all in these past 2.5 years I've been faking it. There's that. Anyways, okay, so today we're just gonna, I guess, jump right into our fun little activity. We are going to discuss Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Disney Plus original series, season 1, that just came out. Just amazing. So
there's just a lot. There's so many emotions that I feel like I went through in the past. Watch. Like literally this Tuesday when I didn't have to sit down at 8 p.m. to watch it, I was like, what do I do now?
Literally, like I'm going through withdrawals. Like my Tuesday nights, like Monday I have The Bachelor, Tuesday I have nothing. What am I supposed to do? I used to have Dancing with the Stars, and then that ended too. So yeah, okay. So basically, if you haven't heard about the TV show at all, you have no idea like what Percy Jackson is, which I don't know how, because it's been around forever, it feels like at this point. But basically, it's a TV show series that is adapted from the books written by Rick Riordan, our king. It's a 5-book series with like a ton of other little extension spin-off series that have also happened. And we all read them, except for Laura, when we were in like 3rd grade. Yeah, me and John, we read the books. Laura's never read them.
Oh my god. PSA, Laura has read the books. That's false.
Yeah, we just
Laura's in denial, so
she can't win.
I reread the books every summer because it's just like my summer comfort read. But
yeah, I've read them. I've already read them once, but I think I'm gonna pull another reread this summer, especially because of like the show. I just feel like I go through like really heavy Percy Jackson eras in my life, and it's always usually during like June and July because like the summertime vibes just give.
Because it's like camp.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So always a fun time. But yeah, so we absolutely love the books. We've loved them for a very long time. We had to suffer through the movies, which they're iconic. The movies are iconic.
As movies, they're really good. Like they're really funny. Like Grover's funny, and like the music is funny, and they're super unserious, so it's like fine.
Yeah.
But as adaptations, they're actually something.
Yeah, they missed the mark a little bit when it comes to being an accurate adaptation of the book, which was kind of the big thing going into like the series, because they announced the series originally at the D23 Expo back in like 2022, I want to say was the last D23 Expo. Yeah, because I think the next one's this year, and they do it every 2 years. But I remember the news coming out originally that the show had been greenlit in like 2020, like right when. Yeah,
do you remember the Instagram like video that like Rick released, and he was like, "Percy Jackson is coming to Disney Plus," and I remember sending it to Brooke immediately and being like, "Oh my god!"
Oh my gosh, I literally freaked out. I like posted so much. I was like, dude, like there were so many like things that were like Rick Riordan like single-handedly is saving 2020, like. All the Percy Jackson stands are rising from the grave, like it's happening. So that was like a huge moment in time. But so to actually like have the show out, have it completed, and have it renewed for season 2
immediately, not even like we're waiting, like it was okay,
it just happened.
Literally. So very much excited about the future of Percy Jackson, especially because there's so many people that I know now that are like getting into Percy Jackson because of the show, which is awesome. Like even my younger sister, like she has friends that she knows that started reading the books because they started watching the show. And so I was like, yes, victory. But all right, so let's jump into our little discussion moment.
Socratic seminar style.
Exactly.
Oh, Socratic seminar style.
We gotta bounce off each other. Basically, we can start like pre-show, so before it had even aired, because fun fact to everyone watching, we watched the premiere of the first 2 episodes all together in person over our winter break, which was really exciting. But going into that moment and kind of seeing all the press and the lead up and the casting and like seeing Ari and Walker and Leah for like the first time all together, like what were the thoughts, expectations, the feelings, things you were excited about, things you were kind of concerned about, how you thought it was going to play out, just kind of in a broad sense?
Walker Scobell was like the biggest green light for me for Percy Jackson. From previously knowing him from other projects, he had the personality. Like, Percy is his personality as a character. Like, it fits
Absolutely.
so well.
Yeah.
I was a little bit concerned with Leah specifically, only because at the time, she looked significantly younger than Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit concerned just by like how that would look on camera if she looked younger than him. Once the show came out, obviously they were older.
Yeah. And she's low-key a badass, so it like asserts her dominance.
Exactly.
I literally love her so much.
But initially I was a little bit worried, but like she killed it. She's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the same concern as like literally every other Percy Jackson fan. Why is Percy not dark haired and why is Annabeth not blonde? Because I love like the casting, but like I just like initially obviously I was like, wait, can they like make Leah's hair, like can they put blonde like hair into it and like give her like a little bit of a blonde moment, or like can they dye Walker's hair or give him like a wig or something? Because like I don't know, I feel like especially because I've been a fan for so long, it's like I had this like preconceived like notion of like what they look like, especially for like all the fan art and stuff. So then like that was a little bit like, oh, like I didn't dislike it. I was like, oh, like I was like intrigued. I was like, okay, what are they gonna do? And then when they made Grover Indian, I was like, oh my god, I was so excited. Because I was like, oh my god, he's my people. Like I was so happy with that. I was like, yes,
Literally.
Grover is my little brother was so excited. He was like, oh my god, like I am Grover, and I was like, exactly. Aww. There you go. So I was just like intrigued. I wasn't like concerned. I was just like really like, because like we all were like, why is like Percy not black haired? Like we were just like all really confused, but like I don't know, it was just like a little apprehension, but like I was really excited because they look like very like the chemistry was really good, like even like the press and like that one photo that came out of all 3 of them and Rick, like it was just this is so cute, like this is them, this is the trio.
Yes, I agree 100%. I definitely think that like with Walker, again, like you said, like absolutely 100% confident in his acting abilities, like after seeing everything. And like I hadn't watched The Adam Project. I very recently watched The Adam Project, but I'd seen like all his like commercials and like all the TikToks, the mac and cheese commercial, like I'd seen all this stuff. I saw all of his press like with Ryan Reynolds, because I just remember when all that stuff came out, they were like, oh my gosh, like this kid is young Ryan Reynolds. And like after seeing all of that, I was like, this is absolutely Percy Jackson. Like this is totally like he is him. So I was really excited to see him actually like officially get the role. And like when his little like Zoom thing, when they told him he got the part, he was wearing the Camp Half-Blood shirt, I was like, oh my gosh, like bless your heart. And I just love that. And I think that's what really made a difference, I think, especially after like when the show came out, was seeing their love for the books really come through, because before that we didn't have a lot of press moments with them as a trio, like all 3 of them. And then because of the writer's strike, it was like really hard. They couldn't promote anything for a really long time. So after the show started coming out and they started doing more press for everything, I think being able to see like how much they all loved the books really made me like enjoy their performances more and like respect them like a ton for wanting to produce an accurate adaptation. And especially Walker, because I know he's talked a couple times about trying to get it as close to the books as he possibly can, which is awesome. So
I know, like a moment like so stand out to me is like, do you guys know exactly what I'm talking about? The interview from the Sea of Monsters cast, like Logan Lerman, Alexander Daddario, and like Brandon Jackson, where they're like, where someone asked, they were like, do you guys eat blue food? And they were like, wait, what does that have to do with anything? Like, hello? And then when Walker asked that question, he was like, oh yeah, like I love blue food, like this, like I'm Percy Jackson. Like he said, it's a really good answer. And I was like, this is the right guy.
That's literally how you know. That's how you know that you're finally like, we're finally getting what we've been waiting for, which is crazy.
Yeah, I do love Logan Lerman though. He's such a
yes, always. Yes. The OGs will always have a special place in my heart, just because there's
especially
really, Yeah, just because they're so silly. Because I don't know.
They're literally like those movies are the most unserious movies ever. Like,
Yes.
I rewatched it and I was like, what are we doing? What
Yeah.
is happening?
The fact that they like went into that being like, this is gonna be the next Harry Potter. I was like,
no.
you watch Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief and compare that to the Sorcerer's Stone and let me know which one is gonna make it past 2 movies. All right.
Yeah, like
But-
what? Like,
It was crazy.
I hate that they did the Cyclops thing really well.
I always forget
Favorite
that
part of
like
the second movie, the Cyclops.
Tyson,
Tyson.
might be such a cutie.
so cute. I'm actually so now that we've talked kind of about the main trio, let's talk about our other characters that are in the show.
Literally, like,
Oh,
I remember the
my
first second
favorite.
Charlie Bullshot showed up on that screen. I feel like I like side-eyed you guys, and we were just like,
we were like, wait.
and then like now, even though he's evil, it's like fine.
It's like
fine.
totally fine. Like I totally get it.
Like I'll be evil. I will be evil with you.
I will join Kronos for you. Don't even fret. He like posted that thing for season 2, and he was like, "All right, who's joining me on Princess Andromeda?" And I was like, "You ain't gotta ask twice. I volunteer as tribute,
I will
sir."
go. I'll do it. No, and
But-
Dior did so
Oh
good.
My,
I love her.
I'm obsessed with her. She is
I thought she was-
amazing.
Oh, the fact
Like-
that she was able to instill like actual fear in Walker in that one scene. Oh, so
Well,
good.
she is like Clarice. Like I was worried because like I like okay, I don't know if this is a hot take, but I did like Clarice in the movies. I feel like she actually like this was like she was low-key giving. Like she was low-key giving.
Yeah, for sure.
But then
Yeah,
people
no, I
were mad
agree.
that like Dior was cast because Dior is really pretty. But like and like Clarice like I guess isn't supposed to be that pretty, but like Dior is really pretty. But it's like I think like
such a crazy thing for people.
I know, like why would you say that to somebody?
Mad
Like,
about? Oh my god, you're too pretty
She's
to play
too
this
pretty.
character.
hello?
Okay.
And then people were like, "Oh, she's not jacked enough," because like Clarice was really jacked. Have you seen that picture of her and
I
Charlie?
was about to say,
Like they are jacked.
like,
Like I don't know. I feel like she did it so well, and like her like RBF, like
oh
Like,
my gosh,
her like she's just a glorious human being. Like I
literally
just-
even that like last shot that we see of her in the series in that season
Yeah.
finale, like when Percy shows back up to camp and Annabeth is like hugging him, like just that shot of her just standing there, like I was like, she wasn't doing anything, but she was like given everything in that shot, like
she was
literally
majestic.
absolutely insane. So I literally love her so much. I follow her on TikTok now, and I love watching her like little vlogs and like day in the life stuff, and it's like amazing. Anyways, I'm so excited for her, and I can't wait to see her in more stuff because she absolutely killed it. So yeah, her and Charlie absolutely ate 100%.
Oh my god! And I think Mr. Brunner ate it up too. Oh my god! And
And
Mr.
then-
D ate it up.
Oh,
Mr. D.
I was
Mr.
about to bring
D
him up.
Was insane.
Tell me why he was like he started talking and he was exactly how I imagined Mr. D's voice to be throughout the
I
entire
agree. And
series.
the outfit and the Diet Coke and like,
Like-
okay, some people were like, what is this product placement? And I was like, guys,
You
it's
don't
not
get
product placement.
it. You don't get it. You don't understand. Oh, literally. But even in like the musical version of the Lightning Thief, like he has his own song, right? And he even sounds like him,
Yeah,
which I was like, that is insane. But I'm so excited for him. And I think Rick posted like a thing where he's coming back in the second one, which is awesome. I need him in all 5 because I hate when shows kind of like just like they get rid of like minor little characters. But I'm like, you can't do that.
With the same.
because like, okay, honestly, Percy Jackson, like, there's a lot of characters, but like, at the same time, there's not that many. I don't know, like, I just
Yeah,
because Harry Potter has so many random side characters that I'm just like, who are you? Like,
mhm.
like I don't know. But then like, I feel like each character like has like a role. Like they're like, oh, like there's like a purpose to this person.
Yeah, I agree.
And
100%.
Mr. D is one of those characters. Even though he's like goofy and like there for like comedic relief, it was like, and I love the scene where they like him and Mr. like or Chiron are playing like Pinnacle. Is that what it's called? Yeah.
Yes.
They're playing the game, and I was like, wow, this is so good.
I know, literally. I love. So I'm very excited to see all of them come back. Also, Virginia as Sally Jackson.
Okay.
All right.
So how do we feel about Sally Jackson's like character change?
Yes,
I
I
get that.
was going to talk about that because in the books, she's kind of like
She's like a closeted badass. Like she's like,
yeah,
because like she literally kills Gabe, and so we're like, okay, like she's like amazing.
and we
But
all
it's like
kind of like
she's not as like
right on.
upfront about it in the books as she is in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't know, okay, for me at least, like I just don't like when characters are like overly like ominous. I guess you know like some characters like they say things that are like really like vague. Like whenever she's
Yeah,
like, Percy, this will help you in the future. Like, bro, he's in swim lessons. Like it's not that deep.
Yeah.
Like I don't know, I just like her writing, like they worked too hard to make her like super strong. And they didn't realize like she's already a really strong character. Like she literally survived like an abusive relationship for what, like
yeah,
5 years like with Gabe, and like she does so much, and I'm just like, bro, like y'all worked a little too hard to make her like she's still really cool, but it's like I don't know,
Yeah.
there's like shoving it in our faces.
Laura, thoughts?
No, I agree. It kind of takes away from any kind of like mystery that she had to her, because she's putting it up front that like this is all because he's a demigod. Like that, which obviously we know, but Percy doesn't know that. And so for me, it felt like I'm sitting here, I'm like, how are you not realizing from all these like weird hints that she's putting down that something is off? I don't know. I feel like they put almost too much backstory, like connected to her scenes. It
Yeah.
took away from her as a character, and it made her kind of more of a like plot developer than
Yeah.
her own sole character.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm like checking the book because I don't even remember if Sally's the one to tell it. Is Sally the one to tell him that he's a demigod in the book?
No.
That's
No,
what I don't know.
No, she doesn't, because they go to the cabin. Well, they don't even make it to the cabin. That's the thing. In the book, they
Mhm.
don't make it to the cabin. They get attacked on the way. Grover's not even with them, and then he
Yes.
wakes up at Camp Half-Blood. And
Yeah.
like it's very like he doesn't know anything that's going on
It's
in the book.
very brief. Yeah. They leave.
I think Chiron is the one that tells him in the book.
That's what I'm thinking because I feel like they really, like, I'm piggybacking off of Laura's. They took away a lot of the mystery to her character, and I think that's because she just upfront told him, "Yeah, you're a demigod. Like, surprise! Like, your dad is a god." So I feel like a lot of her, because she was never that upfront with Percy in the books. Like she didn't tell Percy stuff like that, because I think it might have been even like Mr. D to tell him that he was like a half-blood.
Yeah, or
Like,
so, it was
yeah,
definitely a camp person. Like it was
Because
not.
because I know in the musical it's Mr. D.
I
That's
don't
the whole
know.
intro to the song is Mr. D talking to Percy. So I don't know.
And also like a really big part of Percy Jackson, like he's just always confused, like always, like
yes, all
like-
the time.
he's always confused, and either Annabeth, Grover, or like someone has to tell him what's going on, and like I just feel like that wasn't translated into the show.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
'cause,
I
like,
agree.
he was never confused; he always knew what was going on, and I was like, guys, like he's supposed to not know what's going on. Like
He's supposed to be lost.
Mm-hmm. I
He's
think
supposed to be
maybe
lost.
that was one fault of the show for me, is that Rick made this for the readers, like the people who had already read the books.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's what the show was made for him. I think that maybe where they took it a little too far was assuming that nobody that was new to the series would be watching it, because they took away all of the like fun hobbies and characteristics of the readers. Like they touched on a little bit of Percy's dyslexia, but
Yeah,
not.
they showed it for like a little
It's
bit.
like
Yeah, I
so
remember.
prominent in the books, and it comes up
Mhm.
so often. And I think it came up maybe twice in the
I
series.
know.
And then Annabeth's love for architecture. And I like that they touched more on like Grover's path on finding Pan. But I don't know, they did it in a way that wasn't significant enough at like in the context of the episode for me. It kind of felt
Yeah.
disconnected.
Yeah,
I
I
like-
agree with Annabeth. Like the fear of spiders thing, I know was a huge, and like when we go like episode by episode, we can kind of talk about what they did with the Tunnel of Love scene. But like I'm glad that Luke at least mentioned it. Like even if he was trying to make like an analogy of some sort, I'm glad that he at least mentioned it a little bit, so that that's something that people can hold in the back of their head. But I do think that they had great chemistry with each other, but sometimes it was hard to see their dignified like personalities come out. Sometimes it was hard to find Percy's humor because like sometimes it wasn't as sarcastic. A lot of his sarcasticness is his inner monologue book, so they might have to work a little bit harder to make his actual dialogue more reflective of that. And like with Annabeth, like yes, she's strong, but again, like her love for architecture and like the stuff with her dad and like her vulnerable side, like it comes out a little bit for sure, but I feel like not enough for it to really be impactful. Let's jump into episodes kind of overall.
Yeah.
Favorites, favorite things about some of the episodes, favorite moments, favorite parts, favorite performances, least favorite thing about episodes, what you think we got to do better because season 2 is on the way.
Tunnel of Love. That one was my favorite.
I think the last one was my favorite. But I have a thing for finales. Like, I don't know. Like, finales just, like, eat it up for me every time. I'm just like, wow. But, okay, Laura, we can... Wait, Brooke, what was yours? And then we can explain. I feel like there's so much to say.
I think I also agree with the last episode. The last episode was just... I was, like, freaking out the whole time. Like, the entire time I was... Even though I've read the books, I've seen the movies, I know what happens. We're all very aware. And still, I was, like, on the edge of my seat, like, being like, oh my gosh, like, how are they going to do this? Just because, you know, sometimes people can do finales wrong. And luckily, that was not the case with this show, so.
All right, let's get on the Tunnel of Love.
Oh.
So.
Wait, was that Riz? Was that Riz? Wait, Laura, I'll go with you. Hello.
Is that an invitation?
Join me. Like...
Join me on the Tunnel of Love.
I will. No, I'll join you anywhere, Laura.
Putting What Is Love on there made up for not putting Poker Face.
Poker Face! Oh my god.
The Lotus Casino scene. Because, like, I get what Rick said about, like, not wanting it to be connected to the movies whatsoever, but even the book scene of the Lotus Casino, it fits so well with Lady Gaga, and, like, oh, just something about it is so good. But What Is Love? Almost better. Not quite, but it was almost for me.
It's definitely a moment. I loved it.
It was humorous, but like, it was almost ominous of like what was about to come. And I think it really points towards their relationship in a minute way, and I really like that. I was also obsessed with Hephaestus. For some reason, he's one of my favorites. I really enjoy Hephaestus's character. Oh, yeah.
I like the way they, like, talked about them, like, Ares and Aphrodite, like, on the sides of the walls while, like, What Is Love was playing. Because, like, I don't know, it was just, like, cool. Like, I was like, wow.
It was very, like, cool visually. Sorry.
I think, like, Percy is such an unreliable narrator. Like, bro does not understand what's going on, like, ever, unless it has to do with Annabeth or, like, he's about to die. Like, he doesn't care otherwise. So, like, I feel like us, like, seeing what's going on, like, from, like, an outside perspective is so good because, like, I see, like, what Percy's experiencing, but, like, less, like, fixated on, like, Annabeth and, like, himself. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I see it from, like, I see what he missed, probably, while he was, like, experiencing it.
I agree. I definitely think, like, that scene is so iconic. The whole Tunnel of Love scene is so iconic. And I do think that even with the changes that they made, it enhanced the scene. Do I miss the fact that in the book, Percy kind of had his little hero moment where he got to save Annabeth from spiders? Yes, I do miss that he kind of did not get that chance in this book, but or at least in this season. But I mean, he continuously saves Annabeth and proves himself multiple times in the series, so I don't think it was that big of a loss. It is kind of difficult, again, the whole Annabeth's fear of spiders, because that just comes back so hard, especially in the Heroes of Olympus series, especially in Mark of Athena when she's on her own quest. So I think that development will, like, and it also shows that she has a weakness, I feel like, because, like, Athena are, like, supposed to be so strong. They're literally, like, she's the goddess of war and, like, wisdom and strength and, like, battle strategy. So the fact that, like, the Athena kids are always, like, presented in a way that they're, like, they are not afraid of anything, they're fearless. And so the fact that Annabeth has a weakness and it's something as, like, common and relatable as spiders really enhances her character, I feel like. Like, it shows that vulnerability to her character, and that's something that, like, Percy can, like, finally kind of see the real Annabeth in a way, where he kind of realizes that, like, she's also just a kid like him, who just happens to be in the same circumstance. Like Luke's whole, you didn't ask to be half-bloods. Like, so true. So I definitely think that.
they spend so much time like developing Percy and Grover's character, which is really good because like obviously Percy's our main character, so it's like duh. But then like I really did like that they put more time in like Grover because like the scene with like in that same episode where like he's like mind gaming with Ares, like that was really good. Like it shows like a lot more about Grover's character, and I love Arian and I love how he plays Grover and I love all that. But I think like in that, like in making Grover such a prominent character and like expanding on Percy's like development outside of his inner monologue, like we lose a lot of Annabeth in the show. Like for the first two episodes, what she said like two words to him, and it was just like yes, like yeah. Like I don't know. I just feel like they didn't play it Leah, like they didn't use Leah as much as they could have, because like Annabeth, like she's not like a quiet character. Like she yaps, but it's just like it's like she's so like intimidating, and she like I don't know, I feel like they kind of undervalued Annabeth a lot in this first season, and like removing the thing with the spiders, like you said, it's like she's not like some like insane like half-blood demigod hero. Like she's never been on a quest, like she's only like she's young. So I don't know, I feel like I did like I also didn't enjoy that they like took out the spider scene because like I don't know, I just think like it expands her character so much, and they like didn't do that as much in the show, which is like my biggest complaint rather than like the exposition dumping. But
yeah, I agree for sure, because I feel like even when like that whole scene where like Luke's kind of talking to Percy in like the second episode where he's like, Annabeth's the strongest like warrior, whatever he says about Annabeth being a really good warrior at Camp Half-Blood, and like him just like hyping her up in that way, like okay, that's awesome, but at the same time that doesn't really show much of her character personally. Like you said, like I agree with you, they didn't utilize Leah as much as I think they could have. They put a lot on Percy and Grover's relationship, which is great because I love that that's developed because they are supposed to be best friends, but I do think that because of the whole like Grover kind of betrays Percy in the beginning in order to kind of like get him out of Yancey, does kind of like that should have made room for Annabeth and Percy's relationship, I feel like. But I think instead they decided they filled it with like Luke and Percy's relationship, which is fine. Like that is also really important. Like that has to be developed in the first season because the first season is all they get. So like I'm not really worried. Like obviously Annabeth is gonna have a lot more character growth, but I do remember finishing even the second episode when she gets introduced pretty early on, before they capture the flag scene when she sees him in the bathroom. I do feel like she was even like didn't play as much of a role like when they were there, especially when Capture the Flag starts, because they have like a whole conversation, like monologue before even Capture the Flag. So I'm like, we missed all of that. We got Luke, which ain't no complaints, but but I do think that Annabeth deserved a little bit more time, at least in the beginning. Obviously, when they get on the quest, it's a lot better, but I think I would like to see more of them having like deeper conversations. Like, can we get that moment in Tunnel of Love when they have that kind of deep conversation on the boat and like trying to get in and everything when it's just them? But besides that,
I was low-key upset they took out the zebra conversation because like that was like a lot. Like
the zebra conversation, the fact that the episode was still named "We Take a Zebra to Vegas," but there was no zebra in the show. That was another thing too, is that people were like they're leaving out the fact that Percy can like talk to horses because that's like a Poseidon kid thing, because Poseidon was also like the god of horses. So, which I think is funny. Like that's a funny thing to like have Percy like be like a horse kid. So I feel like
horse kid.
Literally, that's what he is. He can talk to horses. So I feel like that would have been like a cool thing to put in there, especially because like they start off the show with him seeing like Blackjack, or like not necessarily Blackjack, but you know, and that's what makes his relationship with Blackjack in the later books like so special. So I feel like they could kind of foreshadow with that, and they don't have to explain why he can talk to zebras. That's the thing too, is that I know that if they would have put the scene, they would have been like, you can probably talk to zebras because you're a Poseidon kid. Like, I would have rather him just have a conversation with a zebra and then be confused about why that happened for the rest of the
he's like, wait, like I just talked to a zebra. Like,
exactly. He's like, wait, what the heck just happened?
Same way, like Harry talks to snakes. Like,
exactly. We don't get that. We don't figure out why he was able to do that until after Philosopher's Stone. So it's like, I don't know. So like scenes like that where I feel like we could definitely improve on specific things. Again, it wasn't a necessity for the book, I understand, but I do think that that conversation was, it wasn't, when I say necessary, I mean necessary for the plot, not necessarily the characters. Because I definitely think that that's a split sort of thing, is where I feel like in the writer's head, they were just checking boxes on like major plot points, which is fine, but you can't have plot without character. They go hand in hand, two-way street. So they have so much room to build on character development because Sea of Monsters is such a short book.
Yeah,
like, and they're on a boat for like 80% of it. Like, there's not much to like say. Like, it's just like they were on the boat, and like, so I feel like I agree. Like, I want them to do a lot more like conversation and like character building and like learn more about the, like, if they cut out the siren scene, I'm actually gonna like be so like where they talk about like their like fatal flaw, like. No, like we need that.
That is so important, not only to the characters but also to the plot. So, and I definitely think because like Grover's not even going to be there with them, I feel like it opens up so many doors for us to see Annabeth's character more, and like maybe they'll bring back the spider thing and they'll add a scene for that in the next season, since we kind of missed out on it.
I think it was like this overwhelming, underwhelming kind of thing with the show. It's like they went above and beyond with like production, especially, and casting. But on the plot, like character development plot side, I sincerely felt like something was missing from every single one of the characters. Like, I didn't feel like endeared to any of them.
Yeah.
And I already knew them, so of course I was interested and I was like obsessed with the show or whatever. But it wasn't like that strong connection like I had with like other book adaptations. Like, I'll use Shadow and Bone as an exception. Of course, I watched the show first, so I'm a little bit biased. But regardless, like going in between the book and the show, Ben Barnes as
the Darkling.
The Darkling. It was like they put so much effort into making him act so well for that role.
Yeah, he really
I felt every bit the same for the book as I did for the show.
I agree.
Same with like Alina and Mal, like they like ate it up. Like that was them, and it's like yes. And also it comes back to like the fact that the book series is so like popular. Like, yes, we're gonna watch it because we love this character so much, but it's like you also have to think about people who haven't read the books and have no idea about the content and nothing. Because it's like, if I watch this not knowing anything about them and be like, oh, like Annabeth's like a side character, like she's just like there, like I don't know,
exactly.
Like, I don't know, like, I just feel like she wasn't given a lot, and like Percy, like. Oh, one thing I was really happy they did was the fight with Ares, because I think in the books we read it from Percy's point of view and he's like a mess and he's just like, oh, like I don't know what I'm doing. But then we see it like from a third person point of view, we actually see how powerful he actually is, because
kind of gets like watch it from like Annabeth and Grover's perspective as they're like bystanders, and that's kind of how we see it play out.
Percy has no idea how powerful he actually is. And like, but now like we do, because we're like, bro just made a whole like tsunami out of like
literally
12. Like what?
Like, hello? No, I agree. Like, going back to, like, your whole, like, playing the audience correctly, because, like, I watched, like, the show, I went back and rewatched a million of the episodes with my mom, who has never read Percy Jackson, and she only watched it because, like, me and my sister were interested in it, so, and even her, like, I would ask her questions, like, oh, like, what do you think, like, who are your favorite characters, like, what's this, like, what are your thoughts and feelings, and even she was like, I like Percy, like, from the beginning, and then she told me after, like, I think the Tunnel of Love episode, which was 4th episode, she was like, okay, like, Annabeth is growing on me. But up until that point, the only character my mom really liked was Percy, and then the mom, and Sally. So, and then I know even until, like, the end, she was like, like, I don't really know about Grover. And I'm like, I kind of get it, because it's literally, like, not like Leo Walker and Arian's fault at all. It is the writing. It is just the way that they did stuff. And there's probably 1,000 scenes that they filmed that they ended up cutting, stuff that was in the script that they ended up cutting. She was iffy on Grover, which is valid, because like, again, they kind of bring some of his character out, which I'm glad they did, but sometimes it was really out of context.
Yeah.
It felt random and it felt kind of forced. It didn't seem as natural to like kind of learn more about him in that sense, because I really do feel like we see more of him in later books when he kind of plays more of a bigger role, especially when he starts his search for Pan.
Especially like Battle of Labyrinth, like
Yes.
Sea of Monsters, like those are really big books.
Yeah, especially the next one, because he literally gets kidnapped by a Cyclops, which means we know we're going to be flashing to Grover and Cyclops, like back and forth between Percy and Annabeth, and then him. So he's going to get a lot of time for us to like see him more in action, which is exciting for sure. But
I love Aryan.
I do too. I really do love the way that all of them portray the characters. I do think they do a fantastic job, and they work well together, and I love seeing them all together. Their chemistry is amazing. I love that they're all best friends.
I'll watch the behind the scenes.
Yes, I did.
The soundstage was absolutely insane, and I love it. And I think that that's what put together, like, immersing you in their world for me.
Yeah.
Was using that soundstage, because that's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah, the volume stage was.
Oh, the volume stage, yeah.
Same thing. They did a really amazing job, I think, with set design. Like again, like John said earlier, they did put so much into the production of the show, which I'm so glad. Like Camp Half-Blood looks exactly how I pictured Camp Half-Blood to look. Like a fantastic job on that. All the scenes were great. The CGI for like the monsters and everything was great. I was a tad bit disappointed by Medusa, if I'm being so completely honest.
Me as well, actually. I think Uma Thurman's way of doing it was amazing.
I agree.
I did love how they did the Pit of Tartarus.
That was great.
Because honestly, when I was reading it, I struggled like imagining Tartarus. Because in my head, like I just imagined like this like pit of like there's like fire. Like I never like understood what it looked like in my head. Because like not that Rick didn't write it well, but like I could not fathom like what it was.
Right.
Like I think like the production like showed me like okay like this is what it, and like in like Mark of Athena. Oh, spoiler alert! Like.
I've like cut that out.
Would have come out 10 years ago, but like.
Bleep her out. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, like a warning. Be like, do not watch the spoilers.
Like I never really I could never like fathom like how that was even possible. I was like, how did that work? But like I think that was really good, and the whole underworld was really really good.
Absolutely, I really did, and Olympus too was amazing. Like when I saw Olympus, the first thing kind of in my head was like, oh my gosh, it looks like Asgard from Thor movies. Like the first thing that came to my head was I was like, that looks like freaking Asgard, guys.
I mean that's like good though, because it's like similar mythology, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, that's perfect. It's just Norse mythology versus Greek.
Wait, did you guys know that the guy that played Zeus died? I literally did not know that, and it was so sad. He
passed away like last March or April, I think. So he like never got to like see the show, which is so sad. So
I know
he did such a good job too. Like I was so like oh my gosh, like this is Zeus, y'all. Oh,
okay. Can we talk about the ending scene, please, with Zeus and Poseidon, like with Percy?
When Poseidon showed up, dude. Every scene that Poseidon was in, I was freaking out. Did you know that the guy that plays Poseidon is Professor McGonagall's son?
Yes. Oh my god, I found that out and I was like, what?
I saw that on my big texted me yesterday and sent me like a TikTok about it.
Professor McGonagall.
I know, me too. But literally, like that was like that blew my mind. But I loved all the different like gods we got to meet in the series, like in the show, because it was just fun to like see them. Oh, hey Laura.
It's time to talk about Lin-Manuel and Miranda.
Wait. Guys,
Alex,
can we please talk about him?
I love Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Okay, I was so sad when he didn't break out in song randomly. Hello.
I wanted him to start singing about his package delivery. I love him. It would have been funny.
After the war, he went back to New York and became Hermes. Like that's it. Can we just write the show?
Whenever me and Brooke's idea, whenever they were doing like the little next episode snippet at the end, and we were like, they should have edited out like fade to black.
Yeah.
That also okay. Like, yes, poker face. Yes, levitating. I get it, but
yes, levitating is crazy.
Okay. Like, I mean, yes, isn't like that's what they did. Like, I get it. Like, I understand. But en contraire, imagine if we had gotten.
Oh yeah,
that would have been tough.
This would have been original and an homage to the movies. Fits perfectly still. Like, listen to the lyrics.
Bro, I think it's so. All my friends think it's so interesting. We just randomly break out into song. Okay, I did not like that they just knew it was Lotus Casino like immediately. That pissed me off. I was
that
like,
one
guys.
and the Medusa one really got me. Those two are the ones that I was really most pissed about, the fact that they already knew what they were going into. Because the whole point, like the whole impact of the Annie M's thing is that they figure it out too late, you know? That's
like the whole scene where it's like, it's just a photo, Annabeth, what's the harm? Like, that's like such like a Percy like thing.
Exactly.
And then Annabeth's like sus the entire time. She's like, oh my god, like what do we do? But Percy's just like, it's fine, let's just go. Like that's such a Percy thing. Like, just like, let's just go. Let's do it.
Okay, Laura.
I was very upset. And I remember talking to Brooke about this. I was waiting for the fate scene in the taxi. I love that scene.
Yes.
And then Percy drove, and I was like, he's 12. He can't drive.
Don't even reach the gas pedal. Like, he's not at all.
Bro is not. He is not the one for that job. But I agree with that as well. And like, as much as I do love Lin-Manuel Miranda, Hermes was not in the first book, was he?
No, he was in the second one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because he was. Okay, I low-key do like that he added him because like, do you know like the ending scene where like Percy like brings up like Hermes and Luke's face just like drains. Like he was like, no, it's not true. Like I met your dad or like something like that, and then he was like, and that was like, what? Like, and like I think that shows like I love that it developed Luke's character that way. Not because I want to see Charlie Bush on my screen, but me and Brooke are fiending, but. I just think like Luke is such a complicated character. Like he genuinely is. Because he's not like a Voldemort where like he's clearly in the wrong. Because Loki, he's kind of right. Like he's kind of right. That's like the fact that he like the ending scene where he's like convincing Percy. I was sad there's no Scorpion, but it's like the way he was convincing Percy, he's like, no, this. Like I was like, he's Loki eating it up. Like he's Loki making some points. And like I think the fact that like exactly, and Percy was like, I met your dad, like everything, like the reaction from Percy when he saw his dad versus Luke, like juxtaposes, because it's like, when Percy saw his dad, he's like, oh my god, like this is my dad, but then Luke is like, oh, I saw your dad, like he's just like angry, like he's just done, like he can't do it anymore, like, I think that was really interesting, just like,
and I definitely think that once, like, they find out kind of about Luke's backstory and like everything that happened with his mom and like all that stuff, that's gonna even like hit harder, like going back and watching that scene after knowing everything that like Luke's been through. And I honestly wish I kind of hope that they do go off book with his character a little bit, where they give us more backstories, like his quest and like his upbringing at Camp Half-Blood, like his kind of journey, because we don't really get any of that. Like we know he went on a quest, we know he like did fine, he came back, but like nothing, like, it wasn't big, it didn't change anything, it was like something stupid, right? So that's where I feel like he has like there's so many things that they could do to like grow him as a character, but I do agree, like him and Percy, the fact that like you can visually like see where Luke is coming from in Percy at the beginning of the series is like done really, really well, because for like the first 2.5-ish episodes, Percy does not want anything to do with the gods. He thinks they're the worst. He says all that stuff to Annabeth where he's like, my father never helped me, why would he help me now? Like, you've done more for me than my father has my entire life. Like, all those lines, like, literally, I know it's so cute, but they literally, like, sum up what Luke's point is that the gods don't do anything. And then, like, when he says, they're bad parents, Percy, I think that really, like, made because that was straightforward. He was like, Percy, they're bad parents. Like, you have to admit they're bad parents. And Percy probably agrees with it. Percy's probably like, yeah, dude, you're right. But they're trying their best, which is what he says in the show. So it's crazy, just like the different ways that they approach the same sort of feelings and the different ways that they deal with it. And the fact that Percy has like those same values,
like anger, like the frustration.
Yeah, he feels the same way about the situation. He's just deciding not to act on it, whereas Luke is being convinced and compelled to act on the situation, which is another thing too, like talking about the whole impact that like Kronos has on him, because even like Percy in the scene was like, this isn't you, when he screams that,
look at me, Luke,
like, look at me, Luke, it's Jason, please, it's not you,
not Jason.
Oh,
spoiler alert.
Anyways, stop talking to me about the time. Anyways, 10 minutes left, we can wrap it up. But But yeah, I agree. So I'm excited to see what they do with Luke and Percy's character. But it'll be exciting to watch. But yeah.
Okay.
Any other thoughts on the actual show / what we're excited to see?
I do hope that they keep a lot of the humor for like when Grover's kidnapped by the Cyclops. I need that kind of humor because like even in the book there's a lot of terror, but they make it so funny, and it was even more unserious in the movies, as we know.
Yes,
and I know that Rick wants it not to be tied to that, but keep it true to like the feeling that we have, because everything else with like Tyson is more on the serious side, and Grover's like the comedic relief in that book.
Yeah,
and, like, he's in this terrible situation, but it's like laughable what he has to do to stay alive. Like,
yeah, I agree 100%. I definitely think that like going into the next season, we're really gonna get to see Arian shine, like as an actor and through Grover, which is gonna be really exciting to kind of see him take on Grover, and maybe they'll give him a little bit more creative freedom with his character. Maybe they'll like add a little bit of more pizzazz to him so that like people can truly like fall in love with the characters, because I do think like what I think Laura said this earlier, where you were like that like attachment to like the characters that we get from reading the books is not the same watching the series, especially if you haven't read the books. Which I think is true, just because like we said with like the character development and all that stuff going through. My sister just texted me. But yeah, so I am excited for next season to see. Hopefully they can like add. I only want them to add. I don't really want them to take away. I feel like they should only build on what they've said is the foundation. I feel like there's only up from here, truly, especially after like getting feedback already from like a project like this, because I don't know what the feedback was like on the movies after the first one came out, but it must have been good enough for them to make a second one. I just hope that Disney decides to really run with this show and treat it like it's going to have all 5 seasons, you know, because I don't want them to, because I know like the second Percy Jackson movie, like freaking Kronos is here at the end.
Yeah, and they like defeat him, and we're like,
it was a duology. I was like, well,
yep.
Rose got 3 more books left before he gets there, so that's why like I really don't want them to approach it as an ending.
Sub conflicts that we have to defeat.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's so much stuff, characters happen, things get introduced, all this stuff goes down. So I'm excited. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. But until then, I just love seeing the cast post about everything and like make TikToks and videos and all this stuff. Literally, Dior and Charlie's friendship is like one of my favorite things to watch. Did y'all see like the screenshots of their like text messages that she was posting after like the one episode came out where he was like, Clarice is the lightning thief?
Yes.
Favorite things. And she was like texting and she was like, so I heard you're telling people I'm the lightning. But they're
so cute, and like Leah, Arian, and Walker are so cute too.
Especially, I love that Arian is friends with McKenna Grace. I think it is funniest thing ever. That adds so much to her personality. Like the way that he acts in the behind the scenes makes so much sense that he's best friends with McKenna Grace.
Yeah, I agree. I love that whole little underground. The young Hollywood actors and actresses.
Same way I feel with like Tenzing Norgay Trainer's little brother and Sophie Gomez.
Oh, yes.
They're so funny.
Yes.
Are they like dating? I'm so confused.
I don't think so, because I don't
know. Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to like put this on the internet and have them see it, but but
they're just like best friends.
Yeah, but I know she's also really close with Brady Noon, and a lot of people are suspecting that.
I love this like underground child actor,
because Brady's also friends with Walker. They like stream together on Twitch.
Yeah.
So that is another thing too. But I love Sochi. Obviously, like literally, I watched her on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
Can't wait. So 10 out of 10 series. Those were our thoughts and feelings on season 1 of Percy Jackson and the Olympians on Disney+. They have been greenlit for season 2. We don't know when that's coming. We know that they've started writing it, which is exciting. But overall, 10 out of 10 show. If you're a fan of the books, if you're not a fan of the books, I would highly recommend watching it either way, if you haven't already. And yeah, shout out John V and Laura for joining me today for this lovely video.
Oh.
I'm so glad that we got to do this, and maybe we'll be able to do more things like this in the future. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, tuning in, and hearing all of our thoughts. We will see y'all in a future video.
Bye.